The valedictory address will be delivered by Mr. Asim Gazi.
Y'all want to stop giggling? Like, I'm trying to say a speech here. Be respectful, please. I'm just kidding. Before I start, I'd like to put this out there that this is not meant to be a sad or emotional speech, but instead an entertaining one. The good news for you is laughing increases your lifespan. So if I mess up or if my jokes aren't funny, just laugh. So not only will you live longer, but I'll also feel better. I mean, just look at my grandma. She's all the way over there smiling, having a great time, I think, and she has absolutely no clue what anyone's saying. Actually, I should probably talk to her for a sec to make her visit worth it. Dadu, ami apnake onek balobashi. Oh, nice, I'm impressed. I didn't get tackled by security. Usually, when they see my type of person speak another language, they're like, oh my goodness, we need backup. Call Homeland Security now. Actually, all I said was, Grandma, I love you a lot, so I'm glad nothing happened. We get enough of that at airports. So anyways, when I first started writing this valediction, I realized that if I speak right after Mary and Alex, my speech had better be good. I'm gonna look bad. So what I did was, I asked Mr. Montgomery for some advice. I then actually outlined my entire speech based on his simple words of wisdom. The first thing he told me to do was to make sure to milk the moment. Now, my dad is probably freaking out at this point. See, my dad's okay with idioms because he's lived in this country for like 30 years, but still has some trouble. I just try not to correct him too much, because the last time it didn't end well. Asim, I will drop you off at racetrack with one soda palooza cup. And what you will do is go inside, get Fanta, come back, empty it into this cup, and then go back, get another free refill. So it will be like hitting 2 stones with 1 bird. I tried to tell him it's killing 2 birds with 1 stone, but it didn't work out, because he was like, how in the world you going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, huh? Impossible. Stone goes 1 way, not 2, you stupid. This is why you fail physics. But I'm not failing physics. Yes, you are. You have a 99. Is that 100? No, so you fail. So right now, he's probably getting up to leave before he has to see me bring a cow up on stage. Before he goes, let me try and show him a good example of what is meant by milking the situation. Hashtag got milk. Shout out to Coach Cantu and Mr. Alexander for that skit. Let's just say I was gonna keep on going with my speech, but first, let me take a selfie. All right, I want to do one more. I want y'all all to pretend like you're sleeping, like my speech was terrible, and y'all not paying attention. Do something funny, like pretend like you're not paying attention. Cool?
We're bad actors. What have we taught them?
Second piece of advice I took to heart was that this high school graduation isn't just about me or you, but it's about us. That really spoke to me because I felt for these past few months, as the last senior on stage, I really want to represent the class in general and not just relate to people who know me. So what I did was I surveyed all of you guys to see what your favorite memories of our high school career were so I could highlight them. Not really in a sad way, but more in a celebratory fashion. So the first class of 2014 memory accomplishment that stood out was the fact that we didn't have to take that STAR exam. That's one heck of an accomplishment, to be the last class to graduate with tax. And I heard that STAR test was super hard, so we weaved a bullet right there. Next memory that made the cut was all of our football games. Congratulations to the football team for going 4 rounds deep. And all the other sports that got to the playoffs as well, because we are the playoff capital of the world. Now, like I said before, this speech is kind of dedicated to Mr. Montgomery himself, which fits our class's opinion of you, Mr. Montgomery, because you moving to Wylie High School made the cut as well. So keep up the awesomeness. Or just stop, so we can say, when Awesome left, his awesomeness left. Yeah? Okay. Never mind. The funny thing is, right after that memory, a lot of seniors voted for the time you ran over that kid on your scooter. Like, I mean, you can be ready for so many things, like I don't want to trip up the stairs, or I don't want to run into the wrong bathroom on accident, but getting hit by your principal on a scooter? I see, that was funny. Next comes a memory that actually took place this year, and it's the fact that we got on Dave Letterman. I'm sure that was one of the highlights of Wylie High School history, and we can always say we were a part of it. Next in line for this award ceremony is the fact that we placed 9th in the entire state in marching band, which is pretty darn awesome. And the final 2 memories the class of 2014 felt were really important were prom and the tea parties, because we looked good and had a great time during both of those events. Now, there were a few votes that had to be discarded because they didn't seem all that memorable. I actually want to address one of them, which showed up often, and that is that we had to retake our class pictures. I guess people mention it so much because we're the only class to ever have to retake the panoramic, so I guess it just means we're important enough to make it happen. And having the president's eyes closed isn't the greatest thing ever, right, Mary? I also wanted to do something for the teachers, because I hold y'all in extreme high regard, and it kind of stinks that none of you guys get to come up on stage and say a word or two anymore. So as a surprise, I surveyed them on what they thought of us, the class of 2014, using only adjectives, and this is some of what I got. Goofy, intelligent, ambitious, procrastinating, compassionate, competitive, outgoing, ratchet, endearing, cray-cray, awesome, a sweet, salty, spicy. Okay, someone must have been on their lunch break. Chill. Can I get a hand for these amazing teachers, please? Third piece of advice from my principal was to mention a few people to make them feel special, instead of wasting time with advice, because nobody's gonna remember what I said after I'm done. So I want to take some time to recognize a few specific people in my life who've always had time for me. First off, I'd like to thank Ms. Philippos for being the one teacher who dedicated the most time towards my betterment. You've helped me all 4 years, and I'm extremely grateful I had you as a teacher for 2.5 of those before I dropped out of TPSP. Next, I'd like to give a shout out to my best friend, Hadi Hug, and my 2 really good friends I've known the longest in Wylie, Chris Menchaca and Sura Felicefa. Y'all were friends with me even when I was a bum back in 6th grade, probably because y'all were bums too, and I thank you for that. I also want to give a quick shout out to my brothers on the soccer team. I didn't plan on mentioning names, so I'm gonna go off the top right now. Shout out to my boy Christian Salas. There's 6 of us. Shout out to my boy Keo Asante. Shout out to our boy Gustavo dos Santos. Shout out to my boy Luis Avendano. And shout out to Casey Brunskill. Y'all made it so much more fun for me, and I really want to thank y'all. I also want to give a shout out to the entire Brunskill family. Y'all helped me a ton throughout these 4 years with soccer, especially during my knee surgery recovery periods, and I truly can't express my gratitude towards you guys, especially Casey and Mrs. Brunskill. And of course, I want to thank the ones we can never forget, all the family and friends who came to support their graduates, and my own family and friends. Thank you, Sabik, for being an amazing big brother with all your 4 years outdated advice and help. Najib, I'm doing my best to help you make this speech next year, so I think that's enough for you. Wafi and Samiha, thanks for being not too annoying little sisters who keep me from going up too fast. And to my aunts, uncles, and cousins, Akib, Sakib, Muhammad, and Kazim, thanks for coming all the way from H-Town to see me. It means a lot. And to my parents, I thank you guys for giving me your best and sacrificing so much for me. I could never have done it without you, and I hope I've made you proud, because I'm proud to call you my parents. And last, but definitely not least, I'd like to thank God, who bestowed upon me the blessing of being born a Muslim and teaching me to excel in all I do. And now, to my favorite and final part. Time to flame some of y'all fake people up. Nah, I'm just playing, because I love all of y'all. And in a few months, I'm going to miss all of y'all, because believe it or not, in the upcoming fall, we won't see each other walking through those halls. We won't hear each other on them sub-roll calls, which means no more seeing that dude, Mr. Hall. So it's okay to cry, never too old to bawl. Only difference now is we know how to ball. So prepare yourself, real world, to deal with the saw. Call it hide and go seek. Ready or nah? Class of 2014, here we amo.com. I should probably put this back. Very last thing. See, there's a difference between Alex and I and most other valedictorian and salutatorians. We're both athletes. Like, Alex won't talk about this, but that man has a bench press record at Wylie High School, 400 pounds. And I ran the 40-yard dash in 3 seconds. So it's only fitting we do one last thing as a class. We're gonna break it out. For you guys who've never done this before, I'm gonna say amo on 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we all say amo. Cool? Amo on 3, 1, 2, 3, amo!
Want your phone? Awesome. Take your phone with you, buddy. Awesome is going to quit school, and he's going to become a stand-up comedian. If nothing else, this valedictory and salutatorial address will be remembered as the shout-out Val and Sal speeches of the decade.